Welcome to the Muskegon Channel. It's Andy O'Reilly, and today I am over at the Matt's Garage on Sherman. I am with Karen Kaczynski, who is kind of a big deal over here at the office.
Not really.
I mean, she's going to roll her eyes and all that kind of stuff, of course. But we are here to talk about a couple of upcoming events that Matt's is putting on, because if you're in the loop or not in the loop, we got to catch up to speed, I guess, a little bit. Matt's is having some, what's the word I'm looking for?
Financial issues?
Financial issues, yeah, and it's such an essential service for so many people in Muskegon, and the whole crux of the idea is we need public input from those who use mats, those who administer mats, those who use, and I mean it's such an essential tool for all of us in Muskegon. We need to know who needs what and what needs where and what kind of routes change. Let's get down to the brass tacks of things. Thank you for taking a couple of minutes.
No problem.
To talk about mats and everything going on. So, where do you want to start? I mean, this is a big issue.
It is a big issue, and I just want to say, we've been looking at different ways of trying to conserve money. We've eliminated a few positions. We're not replacing folks as they retire. It's not just with us. The whole county government has,
everywhere. Sure.
Yeah, we all are having issues. Part of the thing is that when the economy is bad, we do really well,
right?
Because people can't afford cars, the gas prices are higher, that kind of thing. So back when the recession hit, we had really high ridership levels. And so we found that we needed to do some adjustments at that time to meet those levels.
Yep.
So back in 2004, we conducted a route study at that time. And based on things that we found in that route study, we added nighttime service, we made some designated bus stops, which we didn't have prior to that. And then it also set up a framework for adding the regional routes, of which we only have one left. We have Montague. We added the Harvey route going out to the Lakes Mall.
Sure.
So there was a lot of services that were added. Well, now the economy is doing well, and so our ridership is back down because the gas prices are lower,
sure.
Less people are riding the bus. So people are still using it, but it's not as at the levels that it was when we added all these additional services.
I would have never, ever stopped and thought that a good economy would hurt public transportation.
Yeah,
and it really stands to reason.
Yeah, it does. You wouldn't think it does, but
right.
it absolutely does. So what we're doing right now is we're conducting another route study. We've contracted with a firm called Foursquare FTP. They're out of the East Coast, and they do this for transit agencies all over the country.
Okay.
They're experts at this. And basically, we're talking to people about what do you want to see. They're looking at how our routes are currently structured, which most of them have been in place since the 70s.
Sure.
So we've tweaked them here and there. We've added a few stops. We might have adjusted them a bit, but really they're fundamentally the same.
Right.
And in that time period, Muskegon has changed a lot.
Yeah.
The demographics have changed. Where people live has changed, and so what this route study is doing is it's looking at our current services and our current routes, and also they're looking also at our Go Bus service, which is our paratransit, and looking at how we run things, what our structure is, and they're going to be able to advise us on what steps we need to take to make it more efficient,
sure.
To make it service people, give more services that they want, and maybe take some others away that aren't being used anymore. So it's really something that we need everybody's input on.
You mentioned take some services away. That's a scary thing to some people.
It is, and it may not be a drastic thing.
Right.
One of the things that we had recommended to the county, a couple months ago was to eliminate a couple routes because they're duplicated.
Sure.
That is really scary to people. And so what, this route study may show us that, hey, we need to keep those right where they are.
Sure.
It may show us that maybe we need to run an hour later in the morning, an hour earlier at night. It could be anything.
Sure.
It also could be a complete restructuring of what we do now.
Right.
And giving us a better way to run more fundamentally, efficiently.
Sure.
And it could be that we're going to go to places that we aren't going now.
That could be
a good thing.
Positive changes,
Yeah.
as well as some of the changes that people are And again, none of this is set in stone at the moment.
No. And it's not going to be finished until February of next year.
Okay.
So it's going to be a while.
Right.
But what we really need is everyone's input.
Sure.
We're meeting with community stakeholders. Our director is meeting with them next week or in the next 2 weeks. So to get inputs from businesses, from organizations, to really try to get to the heart of what this community needs.
Sure.
And so we're also asking for community input.
And that's a big part of it.
Yeah, and it's not just the people who ride the bus, it's the people who don't ride the bus.
Sure.
Why don't you ride the bus? If we did something different, would you utilize the service? And so what we're asking is that people attend some community meetings.
Okay.
Those are coming up on Monday the 22nd
Of July.
And
that's going to be
from 6:30 to 8:30
okay.
at the Sturris Tech Center downtown.
Been there once or twice.
Which is the MCC downtown campus. Yep. And that's at 388 Clay Street.
Yep, right across from Hackley Park.
Yep.
Easy to find.
And then the second one is going to be at the Harmon Ivory terminal, and that's at 315 Morris.
So right downtown.
Yep, that's on Tuesday.
Okay.
From 11 to 1.
Okay.
Now the first
Tuesday the
23rd.
23rd. Okay.
Now the first one that's going to be at MCC is a presentation.
Okay.
So people are going to want to get there and be there for the whole thing.
And here.
Here, yes.
Okay.
Because they're going to present basically what we have going on now and those kind of things. The second one that's at the Harmon Ivory terminal is going to be more informative. It'll be more of an open house.
Sure.
So you can stop in anytime during your lunch hour and come in and give some input.
Yeah. Ask questions, things like that.
Exactly.
Is there any web questionnaires that are going on or surveys or any of that kind of thing?
Did you ask
See,
that?
that's why I'm making the big bucks.
Yeah. If people are not able to attend these two meetings,
Yep.
there will be an online survey that's going to go up after the meetings.
Okay.
And that's for everyone. It's for people who ride Go Bus, it's for people who ride line haul, and it's also for people who don't ride the bus.
Okay.
So you can give us some input on, what you'd like to see different.
Yeah. These are great opportunities to get the word out. I mean, it's an essential service.
Very essential.
And for our town, I mean, we're not like the big cities where you have no other choice.
Well, and what people don't realize is that transit systems in other cities they're supported by a millage.
Sure.
We are not.
Right.
And we are dependent on fares.
Yep.
And we are dependent on state and government local government and federal government grants.
Right.
The levels of that money has not kept up with inflation.
No.
We're still getting the same amount of funding, but we have, everything's more expensive. Our services and most of our expenses, 2/3, are our staff and benefits.
Sure.
And we have to pay our staff.
Yeah.
People will say, oh, well, it's going to be less expensive if you ride a smaller bus or if you run smaller buses or do this. The staff still has to be out there on the
Sure.
road from 8:30 in the morning till 10:30 at night.
Yep.
Those expenses don't change.
Right.
We have to cover all of those times,
Yep.
regardless if anybody's on the bus. We
Yep.
have to go. We still have to run. We run, every day but Sunday and holidays.
Yeah.
So, that's a lot of benefits and wages.
And hours, and these are people's jobs.
Exactly.
This is our economy.
And we want to make sure that we're paying them, a decent
Competitive wage and things like that.
Exactly.
Sure.
So that's kind of the crux of the issue. And some of our buses are getting older, and we
Sure.
have to get more service for them and those kind of things. We have bought some smaller buses, and
Yeah.
those are going to fill in for it'll probably go on the Montague route.
Okay.
There'll be fill-ins for some of our routes. But with the smaller buses, what people don't understand is, they may be a little more fuel efficient, but they're not as driver efficient, because on a regular bus, if we have someone that's in a wheelchair,
Yep.
the driver can just lower they'll kneel the bus.
Kneel the bus down, yeah.
Yeah, that's
I've
what they
seen
call
that.
it. They kneel it, and they can just roll on. Driver secures them with some straps,
Yep.
and off they go,
Yep.
and the driver can stay on their schedule. With these smaller buses, the driver has to get out of the bus,
Yep.
walk around the side, open the doors,
Sure.
lower the ramp.
Just takes a few more minutes, yeah.
And so it's very difficult for them to stay on their schedule
Sure.
with the smaller buses. So not that we wouldn't do that.
Of course not.
But it's just hard for them to
I get it.
stay on schedule.
I really
do. I think I got about everything.
A lot of it.
Yeah,
Okay. Well,
we've been working on getting the grant funding for this since 2017.
yeah.
So it took a few years. It started in May.
Okay.
We did already do some surveys on the buses with our current riders. If they have taken the survey on the bus, then they don't need to go and do the one online
Okay.
as well.
Same thing.
But they should, still try to come to the meetings if they can.
Absolutely, because that's what it's all about.
Yeah, and then
Talk, be heard.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. I wish you the best. I'm glad this isn't my math problem to figure out.
It's a challenging one.
I'm
let me
sure,
tell you.
and it's not like anybody wants to take anything away from anybody.
No,
It's not
absolutely
like
not.
anybody's out to, we're not out to, hey, just because. That's not it at all.
No, we want to be more efficient and have the best service we possibly can with what we have.
Absolutely. What are those dates again?
They are Monday, July 22nd from 6:30 to 8:30, MCC.
Yep.
Tuesday, July 23rd, 11 to 1 at the Herman Ivy Tournament.
She didn't even have to look at her notes. How about that?
Didn't have to look.
All the details will be linked up here on the Muskegon channel. Karen, thank you so much for taking a few minutes today. And thank you to Matt's has been a sponsor of what we do for quite some time. We
You're
certainly
welcome.
appreciate it and help us get the word out though, like we do. And we love partnering with you on these things because it's, I get to bigger cities once in a while and that's how you move.
Exactly.
Public transportation. We're lucky here that everybody can kind of, afford a car and things like that. But those that can't, they really need what you do.
They are
It's
dependent.
essential.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Absolutely. All the details will be linked right up here on the Muskegon channel. Get to those meetings and make your voice heard.